So, McKay, are you going to make the Hall of Fame?
You can make the YouTube Hall of Fame if everybody subscribed and liked the video right now. On the field, he was a top 10, like 10th best quarterback.
I disagree. I think as soon as he hit the playoffs, he looked like a bottom 10 quarterback.
Okay.
That counts.
Okay, you love Justin Herbert.
The 2-minute warning.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 2-Minute Warning podcast. In today's video, we're going to be ranking every single team's most likely Hall of Famer on the team right now. Let's get started. So first up, we got a tough one right off the bat. We got the Arizona Cardinals. Who do you got?
I got Trey McBride just because I think he's going to be an all-time tight end, but I could see you going multiple directions with this team. This is a team without a clear Hall of Famer. Calais Campbell's played a long time, but I don't think he had enough super high-end seasons or really good accolades for him to make the Hall of Fame, and his career is basically over, so what he does at this point doesn't really change that.
Yeah.
So who'd you end up putting?
I ended up putting Marvin Harrison Jr.
Interesting.
So this was a tough one for me. There's no one that I feel is set in stone. Even if you think, I think Marvin Harrison's going to be a great receiver. Obviously, that's not a guarantee at all. Trey McBride, you could think is going to be an all-time tight end. Obviously, not a guarantee at all. And Calais Campbell, it was definitely heavily considered, but the thing about him is I don't think he's going to get there. And so just picking the guy that's the most accomplished doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to pick the guy that I think still has a chance of making the Hall of Fame. And a good one at that, because I think people just forgot so fast that this is a generational wide receiver. This is people are saying the best wide receiver prospect we've ever seen coming out of college. And obviously he didn't have an incredible first year, but he had a solid rookie season statistically, and that was with so much going wrong. With the quarterback connection, I've never seen such a terrible connection between a quarterback and their receiver. And so, this is a guy that has so much potential, and, I expect to take a big step this next season. And if he, does what we know he can do, what he's capable of doing, this is a guy who could be a Hall of Famer in his future. And with a guy that I think there's no one that is set to be one, like a lot of these teams have, where you're oh, this guy's already guaranteed and stuff. I just figured I'd take a shot on a guy I feel like could be.
Yeah, I just feel like Trey McBride's proven already that he's in the top end of tight ends, and there's just no argument for Marvin Harrison Jr., at least right now, to be in the top end of receivers. McBride was just second in receptions, yards, had 1,100 yards, which is insane for a tight end. If he just continues that, he's a Hall of Famer. I just don't know if he will.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to, even if he stays at the same level, I can see him statistically going down, with maybe Marv takes a lot of the targets and stuff, but I think that Marv has a lot more potential. As good as McBride is, Marv has potential to be the best receiver in the NFL one day. And I don't know if Trey McBride is ever going to be. I don't think he will ever be that. I don't think he's ever going to pass a guy like Bowers, who's the same age as him. So, but I think you could go either way. I don't think it's a bad take either way. This was just a team with not a ton of really good options. But moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, who do you got?
This one was another difficult one. I ended up giving it to Jesse Bates. Mm-hmm. He's a first-team All-Pro, 2 second-team All-Pros. Just very accomplished for a safety. Obviously, he still has a lot of work to do to make the Hall of Fame, but he's only 28 years old, so he just has to have 2 more good seasons, and he could make it. And then there's people might think Bijan. If they really like Bijan, he could have a very good career.
Yeah, I did not.
Chris Lindstrom was the second guy that I considered. Mm-hmm. He's been a top 3 guard over the past 3 seasons. I think he is a really good shot, but there's no one else. Everybody else you're just predicting to be get a breakout and stuff.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I also went Jesse Bates. It just felt this is a guy that you're I'm not confident is going to make the Hall of Fame by any means, but I'm not confident in anybody making the Hall of Fame. I think a lot of people would pick Bijan. I think most people would pick Bijan. I don't even think Bijan's a top 5 running back right now, and I think while he could definitely still take another step, I don't think he's ever going to be maybe top 3 is his ceiling. I think 3rd is his ceiling. I don't think he's ever going to be number 1. And to me, that's not the Hall of Fame trajectory. And he's a great running back. He's going to be top of the league for a while, and he's so incredibly talented. I just don't see what everybody else does, I guess, where he's in a Hall of Fame talent. We got these guys like Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley in the league who are, bona fide Hall of Famers. And he's just not on the level of those guys. And he's still young, but I just don't see him getting to the level of those guys. I went with Jesse Bates too. I think Lindstrom's also a good pick, but Bates is a phenomenal safety. He's just a really consistently good safety. Mm-hmm. With the safety position, we see this guy can be the best safety in the league, and the next season he can be 7th or something. There's a lot of switching around, but he consistently stays in the top 5, top 3 every season. So he's a really, really good player. But next up we have the Ravens. This is probably a really easy one, I hope.
I mean, they have like two locks in my opinion, but I picked Derrick Henry. He's one of the best running backs of all time right now, and he's probably got like at least 1 or 2 good seasons left. Obviously, I think Lamar's also going to make the Hall of Fame. He has multiple MVPs. He just hasn't put it together in the playoffs, but I think he will end up doing that. So I think they're both locks. And they got a bunch of young players like Kyle Hamilton that could also get into the Hall of Fame with a pretty solid career from them if they like break out or whatever. But yeah, Derrick Henry, 2,000 yards at least once, I think. Just been like the best running back over the past like 7 years ish.
Yeah, I actually went with Lamar just because he's a quarterback. So I'm like, they're both locks, like you said. Like I'd be so incredibly shocked if either didn't make it. But with Lamar like being already in, basically in already, and he's still like not old at all. Like he's still decently young. Like he's gonna play at an elite level for so much longer, and just rack up more awards and more stats. And like this is a guy that's gonna be easily first ballot Hall of Famer. So I just ended up going with him. Henry also obviously makes sense. You brought up Hamilton. I also think another guy that I want to give a shout out to is Hopkins. They recently did just sign him, and I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame pretty easily. But I also don't think he's on the level of like a Lamar or Derrick Henry when it comes to his positional group. But still wanted to throw it out because on a lot of teams he would have easily been the pick for Hall of Famer. Next up, though, we have the Bills. I think there was only like one option.
Yeah, I just took Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He just won the MVP. Again, he hasn't put it together in the playoffs, but you have to eventually. I assume he's going to end up winning a Super Bowl. Otherwise, I think he'd still make it.
I think he'd make it.
He's had so much, like obviously at the beginning of his career was really bad, but with all of his rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, he's been keeping the ball safe recently, so his stats are going to just get better as he keeps playing. And the Bills are a very good team who are set to succeed in the future.
And it's really hard to not make the Hall of Fame if you were an MVP as a quarterback. Like the only guy I can think off the top of my head that might not make it is Cam Newton.
Didn't Rich Gannon win?
Rich Gannon, maybe. I
think he did.
But like there's not a lot is my point of quarterbacks, especially when they're like actually like really really good like for a long time. And Josh Allen has been good for longer than Cam was already. And he's probably going to continue being at a really, really high level for, another few years. So it's like he's probably easily going to make the Hall of Fame. Even if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. So I ended up going with him as well. If Vaughn was still on their team, I would have gone with him, to be honest. I think he is probably the most he's one of the most locked, but he's obviously a free agent, so did not go with him. And then I couldn't really think of anybody else that even deserved a chance.
Maybe Deion Dawkins if he plays at this level.
But he's still so young.
He's not. He's like 30.
Really?
Yeah, he just like only recently became a great tackle, so he has to play like 5
more years
26. At a really good level.
Dang, I thought he was like 26, bro. That's crazy. Okay, anyway, let's move on to the Panthers. This was so hard.
Yeah, this one was difficult.
There's no one that deserves it.
Yeah, I was thinking about like taking a guy like Tet just because he has the potential, even if I don't think he's obviously going to be a Hall of Famer. But I ended up going with Derrick Brown. He's played one good season that he was healthy because he's only been good for the past 2 seasons. Last season, he had a season-ending injury. He made the Pro Bowl. He was one of the better interior defensive linemen in the NFL. So he just got to keep that up for like multiple more seasons, which I don't know if that's even enough, but there's just no one on this team who's going to be a Hall of Famer in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think Derrick Brown's going to make the Hall of Fame, but I also went with him. So it's like I just didn't know what else to do. Like it got so bad I was considering a guy like Adam Thielen.
That was my other option.
Yeah, like it's terrible. I don't like Ted at all, and he came across my mind. I was like, well, at least he hasn't proven he's not yet. And all these other guys have kind of proven they're not.
Yeah.
Derrick Brown could play if he plays like stays healthy, plays really good, racks up 6-7 more Pro Bowls, which is very hard to do, obviously. But if he did that, then maybe he can make it. But that's asking quite a bit from him. And I think Derrick Brown's a great player, but Hall of Fame is a really big accomplishment. And I just don't think the Panthers are in a situation to have anyone make it there as of right now. Next up, though, we have the Bears. This was a super interesting one to me because I think some people would put Caleb.
What?
Yeah, I really do.
I don't know.
think some people put Caleb. If it was last season, I would have put Keenan Allen. But I could not. I only had one option. I ended up going Jalen Johnson here.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yeah, I thought it was weird, like with how stacked their roster is. I was like, okay, there's going to be options. But then I thought about it. I was like, wait, there's not really options. They're getting so much help for Caleb right now. But all that help they're getting is so young. You got guys like Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, DJ Moore's even not that old. Like all these players, and none of them are like Hall of Fame caliber, at least not yet. Like a guy like Colston Loveland to me is a guy who could be a Hall of Famer one day. But Obviously, I think Jalen Johnson has a better shot as of right now. He's, a top 3-4 corner in the NFL, and he has been for multiple seasons now, and he's going to continue playing at a high level for a while. So I don't think he'll make the Hall of Fame, to be honest, because it's pretty hard, especially with corners where it's hard to rack up like achievements and accomplishments. And just like with a guy like Surtain in front of him taking like the All Pros and stuff a lot of the time, I think it's going to be tough for him. But he's definitely the caliber that could make it there because he's a really good player.
Yeah, it's kind of weird for him because I think he should have a decent shot, but he doesn't just because he only has one All-Pro and it's a second-team All-Pro.
Yeah. And
he's been playing good for like 3 seasons where he's deserved a lot more awards, more recognition. And he's just not a guy people like because he's not flashy and he's not athletic. No one really knows who he is. But
people just do not talk about
yeah.
it. But like people like Sauce took his awards and then they gave it to Deron Bland over him. And Surtain's always on the All-Pro list, so it's like you just kind of have to make the second spot, second All-Pro or first All-Pro, but depending on which one Surtain made. And it's really hard for him, like you said, because people don't want to vote for him. Like, I feel like next year, I feel like Derek Stingley's a lot more of an opportunity to get it because people are going to talk about him a lot more. Trent McDuffie might have a better chance because he's on the Chiefs, so he's going to get talked about more. And this is just a guy who's going to get overshadowed, and so his accomplishments aren't going to add up to the ability of getting into the Hall of Fame. But he definitely has the ability there. Next up, though, we have the Bengals. I think this one might upset people, but I feel like it's obvious.
Yeah, it's Burrow and Chase, but I just picked Burrow.
I think it's obviously Chase. I gave Burrow like a little honorable mention, but Chase, right now, it's obviously Chase. Burrow does not have any like major award. He doesn't have an MVP. He doesn't have, I don't even think he won Offensive Rookie of the Year.
No, he was hurt.
Yeah, he was hurt. So like he doesn't have like any awards.
Does Offensive Rookie of the Year, do you impact that at all when you're going to the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
I don't feel like I would.
Well, all I'm saying is like I can't think of any awards that he has besides maybe like some Pro Bowls. Did he make any All Pro teams? Because there's only 2 every year.
There's only 2 quarterbacks. I thought it was 2 for first team, 2 for second team.
No, I don't think so.
I think
it's 2 quarterbacks. That's why it's hard to get All Pros as a quarterback. So this he does not have very many. I could be wrong. Like we'll probably have to look at that after this, but that's why he just does not have very many awards at all. And I do think he's going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Like I think he's going to win a Super Bowl. I think he's going to win an MVP. Like this is a guy who's so incredibly talented, and like we saw last season, like their offense is going to put up crazy numbers no matter what. His stats are going to be insane by the end of his career. However, right now you're competing with a guy who's like 25, 26, and he has a Triple Crown already under his belt, an Offensive Player of the Year already under his belt. Like multiple All-Pros under his belt. Like this is a guy who's got like all the things locked.
Did he win Offensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, this year. Oh no, Barkley did. Oh, I guess he doesn't have an Oak Boy then. But I don't know why I thought he did. I guess I just thought he did because of the Triple Crown. But still, you got a Triple Crown under your belt. You've got tons of All-Pro, well not tons, but multiple All-Pros, tons of Pro Bowls, and you're going to be putting up some of the best statistical numbers of all time. Like he's on pace to be, one of the best receiving yards and touchdowns leaders of all time. So this is a guy I think is like so easily going to make the Hall of Fame just by having 1 or 2 more easy seasons. I think he's locked after that. So I just ended up thinking that he's more of a lock than Burrow, even though they both definitely both go. Yeah, they'll definitely both go. Next up, though, we have the Browns. This is one of the easiest ones.
Yeah, they don't have anyone on their team, so obviously Myles Garrett. Multiple All-Pro teams. He's in decoy conversations every year. I think he has 1 decoy.
I think he has 1, yeah.
And he's always at the top of the sack leaders. There's just no way he does. I think if he retired right now, he'd make it. 100%. And he's obviously going to play for like probably 3 or 4 more good years. So he's easily a lock.
Easily. That's why it's one of the easiest ones. Not only do they have no other options, but he's also like one of the most locked in players. Like he could literally retire today and be in. So very, very obvious. Like you said, decoy conversations every single season, high sacks every single season. No matter who's around him, no matter how bad the team is, he's always putting up great stats. So he's gonna have great stats at the end of his career, great awards. Easily gonna get in the Hall of Fame. So next up, we got the Cowboys. Who do you got?
It's pretty obvious. It's gonna be Micah Parsons. He already has 2 first-team All-Pros, a second-team All-Pro, 4 Pro Bowls, just like so many stats for a player who's like 26. He's going to play a good like 6 more years in the NFL, and all he has to do is just get that sack number up so it can catch up to other people. I think, what do you need to get into Hall of Fame? Like 100 sacks? It's not that much more than he has, so I think he'll easily make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think he'll make it for sure. And I just don't think there's very many other options at all. I think the only other person that's kind of in conversation is CeeDee Lamb. He puts up a lot of stats every season. If he continues to do that, he could get in. But I don't think that he's going to. I don't think he's on the level of that. I just think that he's the only one you could even consider. So
Yeah, I considered him, and then he's really only had like 2 actually good seasons. Everything else is like 1,100 yards or less.
yeah, but putting up, like we look at a guy like Mike Evans. If you put up 1,000 for long enough, you'll get in. So
That's true.
So he could make it by just continuing to be decent to good or good to great all the time. But we'll see if he does that or not. Next up, though, we have the Broncos. This is a very easy one. Patrick Surtain, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
they don't have any other options, so it's pretty easy.
I mean, Bo Nix is an honorable mention here. Definitely, he's had a better rookie season than a lot of the Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
So
Did he have a better 25-year-old season than all the quarterbacks?
maybe than a lot of them. And actually, he hasn't played his 25-year-old season yet, so I guess not. But
Okay.
he's played his 24-year-old. But Surtain is just like he might even be able to retire today, which is insane.
No.
And go in. He actually
No,
might.
he wouldn't.
He has a DPOY.
No,
he has a DPOY
doesn't
and
have to
3
win
All
any-
Pros.
He doesn't have to win any more awards, but like
he
people
has-
look at your. They don't just look at accolades.
He has a DPOY and 3 All Pros. It doesn't matter.
I don't know if
Or
that's
4
enough.
All Pros. One of the 2.
No, he did not have 4. He didn't get it his rookie year.
Yeah, but he's only played 4 years or is it 5? Okay, I
I
couldn't
think
remember.
so because wait,
He's drafted in 21.
yeah, but because
This is his 5th year this
Yeah.
year. Yeah, he's only 25.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
he wouldn't be under
Yeah,
contract.
that makes sense. So he played. Actually, we already re-signed him, so he is under contract.
right.
So he's played 4 seasons. He has a DPOY, 3 All Pros in those seasons, and so he might. I'm not saying it's a lock, but he actually might make it. He wouldn't be first ballot, obviously, but he might make the Hall of Fame that way. And he's 25 years old. Like, this is such an easy lock. Like, we were talking about with Jalen Johnson. Like, he's the problem for other corners trying to get in. He's stealing all the accolades from the corners. And it's so hard to get accolades as it is as a corner because there's only a couple spots every season. And, it's very rare for a corner to win DPOY. I think that he's the 7th or 8th corner ever to win DPOY. So, obviously his case is just ginormous to get in. But moving on to the Lions. This one I thought could go different ways. I was wondering where you were going to go.
This can go 3 different ways. I went with Penei Sewell. He's
Good
got
pick.
2 first-team All-Pros, 3 Pro Bowls, and he's 24 years old. So,
Yeah.
that's easily trajectory to be one of the best tackles of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about Amon-Ra because he's been consistent every year, and he's had a bunch of good seasons. Even with his rookie year not being that good, and he was only getting involved at the end, he still has 5,000 yards in 4 seasons. And I kind of considered Gibbs just because you could project that, but everybody else is just so much closer than him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're all really good options. I'm going to go a different way here. I'm actually going to go Aiden Hutchinson because if Aiden Hutchinson stays healthy, he plays at the level that he was last season, he's easily going to get in. And he showcased his ability to be the best pass rusher in the NFL at a young age already, and if he continues that, he'll get in. I think Penei Sewell, though, is just as good as a choice. He's phenomenal. Like you said, he's 24, which is crazy because I came in. Oh no,
he came in at
25. Yeah,
No, he's 24.
But he's drafted 21. Yeah, so that's crazy to think about. Like he's already played 4 incredible seasons, and he's 24 years old. So this is a guy who's going to be an all-time tackle most likely. But I really think Hutch has the potential to be an all-time edge rusher. So.
I just don't know how you pick that over Sewell. We haven't seen Hutchinson put a full season together that's Hall of Fame, like a Hall of Famer's.
Yeah, but I mean, he was on pace to have the best season of all time last season.
He wasn't.
He was on pace to break
not-
the sack record easily.
That doesn't mean the best season of all time.
That is the
when
best
you go
season of
against
all time.
backup tackles that whole time.
Oh my gosh.
You're still projecting.
Statistically.
For Hutchinson,
Statistically.
you're still projecting. You're projecting him to come
Yeah,
back
but
to the
you-
level he was at half of a season last year, or a third of a season last year, and you're projecting that for his whole career.
Well, he got better and better both years of his career.
I don't think he's had double-digit sacks yet or anything, though. So you're just projecting that.
He was very close his second year, and then third season or first year, whatever. And then third season, he came out and just looked elite. And sadly, he got hurt. But we're also projecting Sewell to play at an elite level for a long time.
but Sewell
he'd have to
needs 2
play for a
years.
long time. It's easier to
Sewell
make
needs
it as
2
an edge
years.
rusher than it is as a tackle.
No, not for everybody already loves Sewell. There's not
Yeah,
that
everyone
many
loves
NFC
Hutch.
There's
I think
not
Hutch is gonna
many NFC tackles.
I understand what you're saying. I
think.
think there is. I think that if Hutch gets in, there's a better chance he gets in earlier than Sewell. But I think you could say Sewell has a safer chance of getting in. But if Hutch gets it, he'll be a first ballot easily the first year he's available. So I don't know. I think they're both really good options. Amon-Ra was also on mine because he's just going to be consistent for a long time. Just his play style and everything. And he has been consistent for a while. So he's just going to be good. But let's move on to the Packers. This was so hard. It was so hard. Who'd you go with?
I went with McKinney.
Yeah, that's who I went with.
But all of his accolades are from this year.
Yeah.
So he's a first-team All-Pro, a Pro Bowl. He was second
I don't think
in
he's going to make
interceptions.
it.
I don't think he'll make it either. But, like, Edgerrin Cooper's the other guy I put down.
Me too.
I could project him. I think he has a better chance to make it after half a season of starting than McKinney. But I obviously don't want to make that my choice just because he has no accolades.
That's the exact same way I thought about it. I put down Cooper originally, and I was like, that's going to make people mad. And then I thought about it. I was like, I guess I have to go McKinney because, like, he just has more accolades. So, like, if McKinney could technically, I just don't think he's going to. I don't really see a path to that. The only reason that McKinney got a first-team All-Pro this year, I think, is because of the picks, and I don't think people are going to talk about him.
He was definitely at least on, like, second. He was playing really well.
No, he was. No, I'm saying, but, like, people aren't going to vote him in, like, any more years unless he gets all those picks again, which just, getting that many picks is just, like, you can't get that all the time. We saw Deron Bland go from first-team All-Pro to, like, average corner at best, so it's, like, people just really like to see interceptions, and I don't hear Xavier McKinney ever talked about unless it's talking about interceptions, like ever. And so it's like he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's going to get. It's like Jalen Johnson, where he's not going to get the recognition that he deserves to get in anyway, even if he was there. But I don't think he's there right now anyway. I think Cooper has a better chance, but I don't think people are ready for that conversation.
Yeah, but McKinney does, like, once you do make a first-team All-Pro, people know who you are. People will be more likely to vote you, even if you don't get the picks. But yeah. I don't know. He's got to get like 4 more years like this.
Yeah, and he's got to fight over a guy like Kyle Hamilton, who I think is going to be much better than him for a long time. But moving on to the Texans, this is another one that could go like 3 different ways.
Yeah, I put down 3 names. I ended up going with Will Anderson.
Me too.
It's a tough one. As you said, for corners, it's difficult. Derek Stingley's obviously one of the ones I was considering, but we've only seen one really elite year from him.
Yeah.
Nico Collins, it's hard to get in as a receiver, just because you have to be one of the best receivers to get these awards. And he's kind of, right now, even if he's productive like that, people don't want to have a conversation about Nico Collins being that good. I never see him talked about in the top 5, even though his production's easily been up there the past few seasons. But Will Anderson, I think obviously he's not the player he's going to end up being. I think he'll get way better. And he's already shown very good pass rush in the NFL.
Yeah, I think I would bet on Will Anderson to be in the Hall of Fame, even though it's like super early, because I really think Will Anderson has showcased that much, and like he's going to be that good. Stingley is also on my list because it's like you said, we've seen a really elite year out of him, but only one elite year, and like it's so hard as a corner. And then I actually didn't put Nico. I put C.J. Stroud.
It's like
if he just bounces back and is the franchise quarterback we expect him to be, he could make it. Being a top of the league quarterback for a long time is what gets you into that position. So, and he has the potential to be a top 5 guy for sure. So if he gets to that, then he could easily get in. So I end up putting him as the honorable mention. But I think the best chance is Will Anderson, because I'm very confident Will Anderson's going to be a top of this league pass rusher. Next up, though, we have the Colts. I'm interested to see who you have for this one.
I'm very interested to see you. I'm very interested to see who you have. I put Quentin Nelson.
Me too.
Interesting. Yeah, he just has
all the
so many accolades.
Yeah.
And he's still a very good guard, even though people are still like pretending like he was as elite as he was in his rookie year, which why everybody knows who he is. And his first and second year were so good. But he's just gotten so many good accolades. He's like one of the only well-known guards in the NFL, so he always wins, like goes to the Pro Bowl. He's just going to easily have an Hall of Fame career.
Yeah, it was a weird one, but I looked at it, I was just like, he has too many accolades to leave him off the list. I think he's going to get in no matter how. Even if, like you said, like his name kind of alone he could carry him through his whole career. Like he could get worse and worse progressively, and I think he'd still rack up enough accolades. Like he'll probably still make Pro Bowls and all that, and get enough to get into the Hall of Fame pretty easily. Next up, though, we're gonna have to do some projecting for this one. We got the Jaguars.
I went with Brian Thomas Jr.
Me too.
I do not feel good about that at all.
It's the only one I feel even kind of good about.
I think Travis Hunter would be the next one I put in here, just because if he does play both ways, it's going to be very easy for him to make the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. So I think
also, if he can play both ways at an elite level, but that's going to be that's way easier said than done.
He just needs to be elite at one of them, and then just fine at the other one.
Yeah, but it's really hard to play elite when you're like that tired. We saw him be tired at the college level. Imagine what he has to do in the NFL level.
He seems to think he can do it, but
yeah.
I don't think Brian Thomas will get in just because it's really hard for a deep threat. Like he's not going to be commanding like a bunch of volume every year. I don't think he'll be consistently getting super involved, especially if Travis Hunter is a good receiver, because Travis Hunter is more of a volume guy compared to Brian Thomas, who's definitely not. But he's a great player, obviously had a great season. Who'd you put?
I put Brian Thomas as well, just because he's the only option in my opinion. this team is looking for talent. Man, they really need some talent. People were hoping Trevor Lawrence would be for a while, but he's not looked like that even a little bit. Even if analysts want to tell you that he has, but I just think Brian Thomas is the only one that has a shot. He had one of the best rookie wide receiver seasons ever, like so good. Just even better than Neighbors in my opinion. And Neighbors had one of the best. Like these were probably the top 2 seasons ever from a receiver. Maybe Puka, but like we've seen all 3 of those guys in the last 2 years, which is crazy. But he's just so good. Obviously, he's so young, so it's weird to project him this high. But when it's your only option, it makes the most sense.
Other people might want Josh Hines-Allen on here.
There's no way. He's not getting it.
People were considering him a top 5 pass rusher after last season, like the season before last season. I mean, but he just wasn't that good this season, and one season can't take you to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Also, even if he bounces back, I don't know. I don't think he was ever at a Hall of Fame level.
Yeah. Now he's like 28, 29.
Yeah, I just don't see it. Moving on though, we have the Chiefs. This is 2 easy locks: Mahomes and Kelsey. I mean, I don't even know if I need to say much. Like the accolades these guys have racked up, the Super Bowls, the duo, they'll be remembered as a duo for like the rest of their life, like the rest of football's life. So I don't see a way both these guys don't get in first ballot.
Yeah, those were the 2 I wrote down. I also put down Chris Jones. I think he has a
super
really good chance. Obviously, he's not necessarily a lock, but he's pretty much a lock if he just has like one more season. But Mahomes has how many rings? Like 4? 4 rings?
3.
3 rings? Does he really only have 3?
Yes, he's 3-2
Interesting. But yeah, he's been to like 5 of the last like 7 Super Bowls or whatever, and Kelsey's been there every time, and he's also has like top 3 stats among tight ends of all time.
Yeah,
so,
very easily.
locks.
He's gonna get in. Next up, though, we have maybe another conversation: the Raiders.
I went with Brock Bowers just because I think he'll be top 5 tight end of all time, and he's had the best rookie tight end season of all time. Great prospect, obviously. I just think he's just gonna be that guy. But like for Max Crosby was the other one I thought about. But there's so many good edge rushers in the NFL, and he was not that great at the beginning of his career. He's already like 28, 29. So I don't know if he'll be able to get the accolades. I don't really know how many All-Pros he has, but it's probably like 2. So he just hasn't been at that top level for
long enough. Yeah, I put Bowers 2 just because it's like even if he regresses, I don't see a way he doesn't rack up at least enough stats to get in, at least like late. Like even if his career takes a big downfall. Obviously, this is projecting, but like for how good he was, like it'd be very difficult for him to not get in. Just by keeping the same level or just regressing a little bit. And then Max Crosby, I also wrote on there like you, but like he hasn't played long enough. But he's a phenomenal player, super elite. But it just depends. Like that's a crowded position to get accolades from and stuff. If he can take another step, even though at his older age, if he can get to the next level, maybe win a depoy. I don't think that's going to happen, but if he could, then he would have a pretty good shot. But that's way easier said than done. And then the last one I threw on there was just Ashton Genty. Obviously, you can't put him above these guys that have actually played in the NFL, but this is a generational running back prospect. Insanely good. Just had probably the second best running back season ever in college. So no reason to think he's not going to be good in a run-heavy offense. But moving on, we have the Chargers. Who you got?
I got Khalil Mack.
Yeah, me too.
I think he is a depoy, bunch of first-team All-Pros. He was good on, I think, 3 different teams, the Raiders, the Bears, and the Chargers, because he's been good the past few seasons, even though he's like 35. He's been playing at a really high level.
He's been good the last, 10 seasons.
Yeah, I meant, on the Chargers just by being old. I don't think he was that great on his last year at the Bears. That's the only time I remember him not being phenomenal.
And then he had a ton of sacks next season, I think. I think that was the next year he moved to the Chargers. He had a 6-sack game or something, crazy.
Oh, yeah, he did. I remember that.
That was an insanely good game.
There's a couple other options. You could go with Justin Herbert if you're projecting him to be a lot better in the playoffs, because winning no playoff games is not going to get you into the Hall of Fame. But Derwin James has a decent amount of accolades, but he's kind of fallen off. I don't think he'll win anymore. So
yeah, I don't think
he'll
so.
be able to make it.
Yeah, I put Khalil Mack too, just because I think he's a lock. I don't this is a guy that's old. He retires today. He's going in. He's a lock to get in. Herbert, I think will get in. I think he's good enough to get there and get in. But that is projecting, like you said. And why would I put a guy on here that's projecting over a guy that's guaranteed? So, yeah, that is mine as well. But next up we have the Rams. I put Matthew Stafford. I don't know if you did.
I didn't. I put Devontae.
Yeah, I figured you would because you're a Packers fan and you're obsessed with Devontae Adams. But I think Matthew Stafford, I don't know why people would consider him not a Hall of Famer.
He's not a lock, though.
I think he is.
You think he should be, but he's not.
No, I think he will be a lock. Like I think in the fans' eyes he's not. I think in the Hall of Fame people's eyes he's got to be. He's got a Super Bowl. He's got like a Super Bowl ring. He's got so many stats, and he's one of the best arms we've ever seen. And he's playing at an elite level all the way up to how old is he now? He's like freaking really old, and
He's
he's
36.
yeah,
37.
and he's playing at an elite level still. And this is a guy I think they're going to compete for a Super Bowl this season. If he gets a second ring, he's obviously a lock.
It's not
But
even
but I think that he should be considered a lock nowadays, and I don't get why he's not because he was a phenomenal quarterback his whole career, and as soon as he got any help around him, he won a Super Bowl. So, and like. Obviously, he's had two really good receivers, two elite receivers, at least for one season. But we also have to give him some of the credit. You know, the two best single seasons for receivers ever were both because he was playing. Well, not because, but both helped by him playing quarterback, and that does give him some credit. So I think, obviously, Adams is an honorable mention. Like both of the guys, I think deserve to get in. But I wanted to throw Stafford on here because the hate that he gets and like people saying like should we consider him is just stupid. Like obviously, he should be in.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna put him on there, and then I was like, well, you're just gonna put him on there, so I'll put Adams on here. He's a 9-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team All-Pro, 2-time touchdown reception leader, some great accolades. I think he's a lock, so
Yeah.
I don't know, I haven't really heard people talk about him in the Hall of Fame, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he'll get
people
it.
Don't. I think they're both gonna get it, but
Yeah.
Next up, though, we have the Dolphins. This was super easy for me. Although there's technically two options.
Is there? Did I miss someone?
Yeah, I mean, I put Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's a lock. He led the league in receiving yards, I think, multiple times.
I don't have anyone.
He was phenomenal. I think the only other person that's a conversation is Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, crap. I forgot about
And like he was a phenomenal corner for a long time, and I think he could get in.
I think they're both locks. Right?
I don't think he's a lock.
Ramsey was like the best corner for like 4 or 5 seasons.
I don't think he was that long. He was a top of the league corner for like 4 or 5 seasons.
At the end of the Jaguars times, he was the best corner.
Yes,
right. And
like
then he
two
came
or
to the
two-
to the Rams.
He was
and
not
then-
the best corner on the Rams.
Yes, he was.
I disagree.
Who was?
I don't remember, but I remember him like not being as good on the like his best years were on the Jags. And he
he's
wasn't
still
on there for
elite
that
on
long.
the Rams.
Like I think he will get it. I don't think he's a lock though. Like Tyreek is a lock. I think Ramsey, there's a conversation. Like I don't think Ramsey is a first ballot guy. Like I don't think he's gonna be a first ballot Hall of Famer if he gets in. But he was still an elite corner for a while, so like he easily could, and I do think he will. But I don't. I think lock Stafford. If Matthew Stafford's not a lock, then Jalen Ramsey's not a
I
lock.
think they should just all be locks.
That's fair. Next up though, we have the Vikings.
I wonder who you went with here. I went with Justin Jefferson.
I did too.
Interesting. I did not expect that. I thought
There was no other options.
Harrison Smith.
He's not getting in.
He's a first team All Pro, 2 second team All Pros, 6 Pro Bowls.
Yeah, that's okay, but like I doubt he'd get in.
Yeah, I don't want him to get in because does not deserve it over guys like Jalen Ramsey. But Justin Jefferson already has 7,500 yards. Offensive Player of the Year, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team, 2-time second team.
He's getting in.
Yeah, if he retired right now, he's
not getting in.
You don't think so?
No, if you don't think Surtain's getting in right now, but you think he would.
Opoy Depoy cancels out.
Okay.
And then you look at production. Justin Jefferson has way better production because he plays wide receiver.
Okay, well you also have to look at like the fact that Surtain has more All Pros, same amount of Pro Bowls.
Does he have more All Pros? He's more first team All Pros, but
Yeah, which is way more impressive. Like if you say that Surtain's not getting in after he retires, you cannot say Jefferson.
I think Jefferson.
If Jefferson got in when we retired today, then we might as well just throw the wide receivers out the window because everyone should just get in. Like 7,500 yards, that is not a Hall of Fame career.
He just has to get that up.
No,
He doesn't have to win any more accolades the rest of his career.
He needs more Pro Bowls, but that's really
I don't
easy.
think Pro Bowls weigh anything anymore.
I think you need to have a high number of them though. Like I don't know.
Four's plenty.
I don't
bet
think
there's
so.
someone on here that I put that has 4 or less Pro Bowls.
All I'm saying
Penei
is
Sewell only has 3.
yeah, he's played 4 seasons. I think that he definitely needs to play longer, but Jettas is going to make it. He puts up the stats, even though I don't think he's the best receiver in the league like a lot of people do. He easily puts up the stats to get in the Hall of Fame, and if he continues playing for a long time, and he's still pretty young, like he's going to get plenty of stats, and he's got the accolades, like you said, to get in, so he'll get in. Next up, though, we have the Patriots.
It's a weird one. I went with Christian Gonzalez.
Me too. Gonzo.
Yeah, he's been a great corner for one season?
Yeah.
And that's all you need on the Patriots. I consider Drake May, but that's a huge projection that I'm not willing to make, especially for this video.
That's weird because you've made plenty of that projection in other videos.
Those were projection videos. This is a percent chance video.
I guess that makes sense.
So, obviously, I think Drake May has crazy potential, but I don't know. Christian Gonzalez has shown us elite play, while Drake May has shown us good play on a really bad team, which is super impressive, but definitely not Hall of Fame level.
He is not shown Hall of Fame. Gonzo, I don't think shown Hall of Fame level either, but he's still really young. He could take another step very easily. Only problem, we've talked about it multiple times with corners, it's going to be tough for him to get in at a corner position. I honestly I don't think he's going to get in, I don't think so either. But I think he could be a top of the league corner for a long time. So. Next up, though, we have the Saints. So this was, I thought it was going to be harder than it was.
So easy.
I literally was thinking about the Saints in my head. I was like, oh, am I going to have to go with Cam Jordan? Like, is that how bad it is?
Wait, what? You didn't go with Cam Jordan?
No.
Who'd you go with?
I went with Demario Davis.
Oh, that's another one, too. They're both locks.
I don't think Cam Jordan's a lock at all.
He made the 2010 All-Decade team, first team All-Pro, 2-time second team
2010's All-Decades team?
That's a huge accomplishment.
That does not get weighed.
It does get weighed.
No,
an
it does
8-time
not.
Pro Bowl.
I didn't know he made the Pro Bowl that many times, but I don't really care about Pro Bowls.
No,
he's just been good for a long time.
He's like the Mike Evans of edge rushers or defensive linemen.
Yeah, but that's like the same argument as like Calais Campbell should have got in. He's just
but
Calais
Demario
Campbell.
Davis has only played good for like the past 3 years.
I don't think that's true. He's like 36.
Yeah, his best years have been when he's old.
Yeah, because he got even better, but he's been
he was not
really good
when he was young.
He's been really good for a long time.
I just don't think he had enough. I wonder what his accolades are, because I don't feel like he was that good early in his career.
I just don't think that Cam Jordan's a Hall of Fame talent. Like, he's definitely not first ballot.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think either of these guys are.
But I think Demario Davis has a better shot of getting in, because I think he's a much better player than Cam Jordan was. Like, you could say he made the All-Decades team cool, but Cam Jordan was never like the best pass rusher in the league. I don't think he was ever top 3 pass rusher in the league. And so it's hard for me to want to put you in the Hall of Fame if you were never top 3 at your old position. Like, I don't think he was.
I don't think Demario Davis has ever been top 3.
I think he was like 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Maybe this year. Or not this year, like last year.
What? Not last year either.
Maybe. There's not a lot of good middle linebackers.
It's just not really a way to tell how good he was.
Okay. Yeah, well, he was really good. So I think he'll get it, honestly. But I don't know. I don't love Cam Jordan. I just am not a big fan of Cam Jordan.
Yeah,
even though he's got the Pro Bowls, I don't like that's not enough for me to put you in.
That makes sense, I guess.
But
I wouldn't put either of them in.
Moving on to the Giants, I think we might make people mad here. I went with Russell Wilson.
It's obviously Russell Wilson.
I don't think people don't want to put Russ in the Hall of Fame for I guess the same reason as Matthew Stafford. I don't know. Russ has never got an MVP vote. Obviously, that is like his biggest case against him. However, like there's definitely been seasons he deserves them. And it just so happens, like I remember Russ's, I think his best season, at least statistically, was the year that Rodgers had like an insane season, so he got all the MVP votes. Like, it just happened to chips fall that way. Just because he doesn't have an MVP does not mean he doesn't have an incredible career. He was like the most productive quarterback ever through his first 10 seasons. He's got like 9 Pro Bowls. He's got multiple All-Pros. He's just a really good quarterback. He's got a Super Bowl ring. He's got another Super Bowl appearance. So, I mean, he's definitely, obviously, he also has like one of the most memorable plays in Super Bowl history, so that's cool. And just by throwing a pick at the goal line. But I think he's going to get in the Hall of Fame, even though people don't think he will.
I mean, yeah, everything you said. I don't think he has all pros.
He doesn't have any?
I don't think so. Maybe he has a second team.
Yeah, I swear.
He definitely does not.
He had to have gotten second team the year.
He was never like a top 3 quarterback.
No, he was, because the year that there was a whole year where Rodgers and him were like the 2 talked about for MVP, and he didn't get a single vote, which was crazy. But there's no way he didn't make an All-Pro team.
Was phenomenal.
Yeah, but Russ was talked about for MVP, so he had to have gotten an All-Pro. There's no way he didn't. But if he didn't, I guess if he didn't, that hurts his case. But I still think he deserved them. Moving on, though, to the... I guess we throw an honorable mention in there. I did throw Neighbors on my list. He's way too early, but this is a guy who could easily be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it was insanely productive with terrible, terrible quarterback play in his first season. So, and then you got guy like Sexy Dexy, who's the best player at his position in the league. Definitely could make it with that case, but got to stay healthy and got to rack up some more stats and accolades.
I saw a stat about Sexy Dexy. I think it's over the past 4 years for players who play nose tackle. and its pressures, it's like 80 pressures for him over the past 4 years, which doesn't sound that great. Second place was like 16.
16?
At nose tackle, like for people who play
for like
mostly
nose tackle.
Yeah,
like,
so they don't count like Vita Vea because
they don't count like Chris Jones. That's who I was thinking.
Oh no,
like,
Chris Jones is not a nose tackle.
He plays DTE.
That's very different.
But
nose
sometimes
tackle is
he
a lot
rotates
harder
outside.
to win from because that's right over the center.
I mean,
and you get double teamed.
He's an insane pass rusher from. He's just so big. I don't understand how he moves like that. But yeah,
he's only had 2 seasons, so
yeah. But he could easily make it if he just keeps up the same production. He'll make it. So. Moving on to the Jets, though, this was hard for me.
I did Sauce Gardner.
I also did reluctantly. I like to put that out there.
Well, like he's gonna get recognition every time he has a good season. So I think he got votes this year for All-Pro team. Like people really like Sauce Gardner, and all you have to get is accolades at corner because it's not like, oh, you only had 800 yards at receiver, you're not very good, because we don't have those kinds of stats, and he doesn't get picks, and people still like him. So there's just no way. If he just keeps playing like even like good, he'll make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he'll probably make the Hall of Fame because of his name, bro. His name's Sauce, so that's cool. But I don't think he's a top 5 corner right now. I don't think that a non-top 5 corner deserves to make the Hall of Fame, but with how strong his career started, he's definitely still on a trajectory to get there. Like you said, I consider Quinnen Williams because he's really, really good, but I think Sauce, off of name and all those things, has a better chance than Quinnen does. Moving on to the Eagles, though, I am very interested to see who you play for this.
I went with Lane Johnson.
Me too.
2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time first-team All-Pro. Like, I don't know. And he had, like, a huge streak of not allowing a sack, apparently, even though he did. But they don't want to count that, so that's another thing he has for him. Just been a very good tackle for his whole career. And now every year, basically, he's going to get an All-Pro or at least a Pro Bowl, even if he doesn't play well. And 2 Super Bowls, I tried to find someone who actually was with the team for both their Super Bowls, just because Super Bowls are very heavily weighed. But I considered Saquon. I don't think he's a lock right now.
I think he is.
You think he is?
He just had, like statistically, I think his
is
season...
Chris Johnson in the Hall of Fame?
I don't know.
I don't think he is.
But I think that Barkley... I guess maybe he's not a lock because he still has to play, like, another good season, but I think he's easily going to, but, like...
Yeah, I think he will.
I think he's easily going to get in, but, like, the thing is, like, he's got Opoy, he's got, the best rookie running back season ever, arguably. Obviously, I think McCaffrey's was better just because of the receiving ability, but, like, rushing on the ground, I think his was better than Dickerson because he was way more efficient. He did on way less carries than Dickinson. So I think that he is going to get in the Hall of Fame. I guess he just needs 1 more or 2 more good rushing seasons. But behind that offensive line, he should be able to do that pretty easily. And so Lane Johnson was the obvious pick because he's a lock. He's going to get in before Barkley. He's going to retire a lot sooner, and he's going to get in pretty quickly. So next up, though, this was the easiest one. I didn't even consider anybody else for this team. Let's go to Steelers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
I did want to mention TJ Watt because I think he's a lock as well.
Yes.
And Steelers fans would probably be pretty upset if I put the guy that they literally just barely signed, hasn't played a snap for them. But Rodgers is obviously one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Top 5, no question, in my opinion. I don't really know why people debate that. Because he, like, if you're not looking at accolades, like, if you just threw Super Bowls at the window, he's probably the second
best. Ignore the most important thing.
Yeah, he's probably the second best quarterback of all time, if not third.
Yeah, I'd say third.
Yeah, he's super talented and has, like, the second in MVPs all time. So
yeah, I thought he was first. Who's above him?
Manning.
Oh, Manning. I thought he tied him.
I don't think so.
Manning has one more. I totally wrong, but he's the best arm we've ever seen. Like pure arm, he definitely is just the best we've ever seen. The way he can throw the ball anywhere on the field is just actually incredible. And he's just been so elite at keeping the ball safe his entire career. So his stats are just absolutely incredible. He's the best touchdown interception ratio by far of these elite quarterbacks.
He has the best of all time.
Does he? Just
with even a small. I think Lamar has went in and out with him, but Lamar's barely played compared to Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean
Rodgers. I think he was at 490 or something touchdowns. And he almost made it to 500 before his 100th pick.
Yeah, which is just insane. Like a 5-to-1 ratio is incredible
for your career, especially how it started. He was not.
And how old he's getting too. It's actually insane. So we'll see how good he is this year. But this is the biggest lock on the list. He's getting in as soon as he can. Next up, though, we have the 49ers. Felt this was another pretty easy one.
They have 3.
Okay, who are you going with?
I don't really know who I want to go with.
I'm going with Trent Williams. I think he's a lock to get in because people think he had the best tackle season of all time. He's got, 6 Pro Bowls. I think he's definitely got multiple All-Pros, right? So this is a guy who's going to get in. I think you could also give it to McCaffrey, though, who had, like we were talking about, arguably the best running back season of all time. But another season where he had 1,000 yards receiving and rushing, which is just unheard of. But he's just so in and out that I could see them not putting him in, just with health and everything. I think he definitely needs to play a couple more healthy seasons in order to get in.
Another guy you didn't mention is George Kittle. He has a bunch of accolades. Easily like a top 20 tight end of all time without considering that he can block, and he's one of the best blocking tight ends we've ever seen.
He's top 10 easily.
So I think all three are basically locks. McCaffrey obviously might have to play a bit more, but if he can stay healthy, he's a lock.
I think Kittle's a completely valid answer too. I think he's a top 10 tight end of all time. So. But I think that they definitely have multiple options that will get in. So I think some people would also want us to say Nick Bosa, even though I don't agree with it. But
he's not a lock, though. We're projected with Nick Bosa.
Yeah.
When we have 3 guaranteed or basically guaranteed
yeah,
Hall of
I think
Famers,
they're
we shouldn't
basically
project.
yeah, definitely. Seahawks, I went with Cooper Kupp.
I did too. Every one of his accolades he has
Is from one
this
season.
same season. Super Bowl MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Triple Crown, First Team All-Pro.
And that one season enough is alone. Like, he might make it.
I don't think he'll make it.
I think he might. Like, that season
make
was
it one
so insane.
Yeah, I know, but he's been productive the rest of his career. He gets 1,000 yards most of it, at least.
I wouldn't say
he's had 3
productive.
1,000-yard receiving seasons.
He's got enough to where I think he'll get in, but he needs
I
to
don't think
play.
he'll make it.
I think he will, but there's no one else that's even in consideration here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're projecting, which
Who are you gonna project? Like, it was really tough.
JSN, Witherspoon,
Charles Cross. Like, it's way too hard.
Byron Murphy,
No.
Nicky Manwari.
No.
He has really good potential.
I don't know. I think it was obviously Cooper Kupp. He's the only one I even considered in this
Same.
spot. Moving on, another very easy one. The Bucs.
I think they have 2 locks, and I'm trying to remember what the other one was, but I wrote down Mike Evans.
Yes. Mike Evans is obviously getting in.
I don't know. Is he going to be first team? Not first team.
First ballot? Probably.
He should not be first ballot.
I agree, but he probably will be. I think the one that is going to be first ballot, but it's projecting, is Tristan Wirfs.
Oh, yeah, that's the other one.
I don't think he's a lock yet, but I think
He plays one more season, and then he doesn't have to do anything. I guess he probably has to play more,
yeah,
but he doesn't have to win anything
to be
else.
good. Yeah, he's very, very, very good. He's going to be elite for so many more years, so he's easily going to be in. I think he'll be in sooner than Evans. Like, he was going to be a first ballot, even if Evans isn't and stuff. So, but just because Mike Evans is guaranteed, I went with him. Moving on, though, to one of the hardest ones of
This
the
is
entire
the
day.
hardest.
I just could not decide. I ended up going with Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans.
Yeah, I think that's a really bad pick.
Who'd you go with?
I went with Tavondre Sweat.
What, mine's bad?
He has no accolades, and he's 29.
Okay.
And he's never played a fully healthy season.
And
he's just not making it.
He's been really... None of the players on the Titans
No,
are making it.
but he's
I don't
not
think a single player on the
He's not
Titans...
a top 8 interior line defensive lineman.
Well, that's
He's
not
never
true.
been.
That's not true.
He's never been.
That's not true.
He's so inconsistent.
That's just not true.
His best games are phenomenal, and then he just drops off. Like, he is not consistent. He's not even close to Hall of Fame.
But
And
Tavondre
he's
Sweat's
too
not
old.
either.
He's too old for him to change his trajectory.
No, if he just continues playing really well, maybe takes one more step for like 4 or 5 more years, he could maybe
if he
make
took
a case.
giant leap and started playing at second team All-Pro level, which is a giant leap from
Okay,
what he's been playing.
Tavondre Sweat has to go from being like okay to elite.
He's a 400-pound, 3-tech defensive lineman who can rush the passer. That's so
Yeah.
much potential.
Yeah, but
So if
like
he can figure it
I don't know,
out,
he's
I
not
think-
getting. None of the players on the Titans are going to be.
I
Hall
think
of
he's a
Famers.
guy people would really like if he was good.
Yeah, but
So
I don't
he just
think.
gotta be good. I don't think anybody on this roster who's on the roster right now, they probably have like a 1% chance that any person on the roster is a Hall of Famer.
I
Like
don't.
that.
I think it's lower. I don't think anyone's going to
I
be.
thought about Ryan Stonehouse, and then he's not on their team
That's
anymore.
a pretty good. Oh, I was like, that's a pretty good take.
So
Yeah,
that's what
this
I-
one's
I
just
checked
tough.
their punt returners. Like, it's bad. It's bad. Like, I went with Tavondre.
Yeah,
Sweat,
it's
so.
terrible. Last one though, we have the Commanders. I'm wondering if you put down the same guy
This
as
is
me.
100% a lock.
Yeah.
Top 3 at his position of all time, maybe.
Well,
Right?
that's pretty.
Top 5 easily.
Maybe I didn't know he was. I didn't think he top 3, but I
Bobby
guess he could
Wagner?
be. Yeah, I didn't know he was top 3 like that, but he's been phenomenal for so long. Elite level. He's part of the Legion of Boom. And then now he's playing at such an old age, but he's still playing at elite level. Definitely still top 5 right now. And and he's like really old for a linebacker. I forget how old.
He's like 38.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I actually don't think he's that old.
I didn't think he was 38. I thought he was like 35.
He's like 35, yeah.
But he's very, very, very good. Has been very, very good for his entire career. He's extremely consistent. I'm sure he's got plenty of awards that you're about to read off to us. So take it away.
This is one of the most impressive resumes, like top 3 most impressive resumes out of anybody in the league. 6-time first-team All-Pro, 5-time second-team All-Pro.
That's 11 All-Pros?
Yeah, he only made 10 Pro Bowls, I guess.
Wait, he's got 10 Pro Bowls with 11 All-Pros?
Yeah, and then 3-time tackle leader, 2010's All-Decade Team, Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, I mean, he's
got everything.
He's a lock. I think that the more casual fan would be like, oh, Jaden Daniels. But he's not a lock, obviously.
I don't think Jaden Daniels will make it. I don't think his play is going to sustain.
I don't think so either. I don't think he'll rack up the stats, and I don't think he'll ever be at the Hall of Fame level.
I don't think he'll ever rack up. Like, I don't know how long he's going to play at a high level because he's like 190 pounds.
I also just don't think he's ever going to be at a Hall of Fame level, in my opinion. But obviously, that's a hot take. And then there's like not really many other options. It's
like Laramie Tunsil. He could make it.
I forgot he was on their team.
That was the other one. I was thinking about it, and then I looked at the accolades. I was like,
I don't think
close.
Bobby's going to kill him.
Yeah.
But that is everybody. Is there anybody else that you want to throw out as honorable mention?
No.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you go subscribe, like the video, comment down below. We will respond to you guys and having conversations with y'all. Let us know what we got right and what we got wrong if we forgot anybody, and have a good one.